A few of you may have noticed that in some of my videos, there are times when the ship stays at anchor or in port for extended periods, sometimes for weeks or sometimes even more than a month. This led to comments that assume ships lose money during long port stays. In this episode, let's talk about how ships still earn money even while staying at anchor or in port for a very long time. The world of maritime commerce is quite complex. It has a global network of routes that facilitate the exchange of goods across continents. And central to this network is the concept of ship chartering, which basically is leasing of vessels. You see, most cargo ships are owned by companies or even groups of individuals who purchase them as assets. And these companies, they typically don't use these vessels for transporting their own cargo. This is where chartering comes in. Ship chartering is the practice where a ship owner rents out their vessel to a third party, known as the charterer. This transaction is governed by a charter agreement, which stipulates the terms under which the vessel can be used, the duration, and the responsibilities of each party. These agreements are critical, not just for the operational logistics of transporting goods, but also for the financial stability they provide to ship owners. There are three types of charter party agreements: time, voyage, and bareboat. Let's discuss time charter first. A time charter is an agreement where the vessel is hired for a specific period, wherein the ship owners get paid a daily or monthly rate. This could range from several days to several years. The charterer then decides the commercial employment of the vessel, including the cargoes to be carried and the routes to be taken. However, the ship owner handles the vessel's operation, including the maintenance, crewing, and insurance. One significant advantage for ship owners in a time charter is the steady income that it provides, regardless of whether the vessel is running or idle. The rate of hire is fixed, thus protecting owners from market fluctuations. This means that even when a ship is at anchor or dock, like when awaiting cargo, voyage orders, or due to port congestion, the ship owner continues to earn because the vessel is on hire. This aspect of time chartering is particularly appealing as it turns potential downtime into a revenue-generating period, ensuring that every day the ship is under charter, it earns money. Next is the voyage charter. In a voyage charter, the ship is hired for a single voyage between designated loading and discharging ports. The owner is paid based on the quantity of cargo or a lump sum. Here, the owner is responsible for the vessel's operating costs, including fuel, crew, and port fees, while the charterer is responsible for the cargo-related expenses. Now, in order to make a profit, the owners charge a higher rate. The rate depends on the market, and it could suddenly shift higher or lower depending on a number of factors. Just to give you an idea, a handy-sized bulk carrier, that is a medium bulk carrier between 24,000 to 35,000 tons of dead weight, has a rate of upwards of $30,000 per day in a good market. In a bad market, it could even go below $10,000 per day. Still, charterers transporting a one-off consignment prefer voyage charters despite the high cost. And this is because they are not tied down to the contract for a long period of time. This model places a higher risk on ship owners as they need to effectively manage operational costs to ensure profitability. However, it also offers the potential for significant returns if market conditions swing favorably, especially during peak shipping seasons or on lucrative routes. Even when the ship is docked, loading, or unloading, the terms of the agreement ensure that the voyage's financial objectives remain intact, turning downtime into an integral part of the revenue cycle. Additionally, voyage charters include provisions for demurrage, which is a fee paid to the ship owners for delays that go beyond the schedule for loading or unloading the cargo. This fee compensates the owner for the potential loss of revenue due to the ship's inability to embark on other voyages. So essentially, demurrage turns unexpected delays into an opportunity for ship owners to ensure that the vessel generates income even when it's stationary. Lastly, we have the Bearboat Charter. A bareboat, otherwise known as demise charter, involves taking over the vessel entirely, including the management and operation of the ship. In this setup, the vessel is delivered without any crew, provisions, or maintenance services provided by the owner. The charterer effectively becomes the ship's temporary owner and operator for the duration of the agreement. The charterer can then use the vessel to transport their own cargo, or they can subcharter the ship. It's like subleasing an apartment. This is actually much more common, and there are plenty of big companies that do this. Also, even when not actively sailing, bareboat chartered ships can generate steady income for the ship owner. They can often be used for stationary purposes such as storage, accommodation, or even as floating equipment by the charterers. This not only provides a continuous return on the asset, but also extends the economic life of the vessel by employing it in less physically demanding roles. So, there you have it. Even when ships stay for extended periods at anchor or in port, as long as they are on hire, that means the ship owner earns money. And if there are unforeseen circumstances which cause delays, as long as it's not the fault of the ship or the crew, the on-hire status remains in effect. Now, in case the delay was caused by faulty ship equipment or mistakes made by the crew, the charterers can file for an off-hire status or similar claims from the moment that the problem began up until the time that the problem gets fixed. For example, in ports wherein the bulk carrier ships are required to use their own cargo cranes, if the cranes malfunction, that will cause delays in the cargo operation. At that point, the charterers can file for claims against the ship owner. Of course, there are also instances when ships are off hire for a period of time, like during dry dock or when there is a major damage, or when the market is just so bad that the company can actually save more money by keeping the ship stationary. Something like that happened during the economic crisis of 2008. A lot of ships, most of them container and car carriers, were just sent to wait at anchor for months, some for even more than a year, just with a skeleton crew on board. A lot of those ships were anchored off Singapore and other places like Manila and Subic Bay. A lot of the companies that owned some of those ships were able to recover after the recession and resume their voyages, but unfortunately, a lot of the ships that were anchored for a very long time were also scrapped because some of the companies went bankrupt. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and certainly there will be more to come. If you have any questions or any topics that you might be interested in, feel free to ask them in the comment section, and I'll see what I can do to answer them. Once again, thank you for watching, and see you on the next one.